Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Ted Erhart. Today we're talking about inherited retirement accounts for spouses, specifically those under age 59 and a half. This came up in a question to me most recently. Someone called me and said, hey, my wife unfortunately passed away most recently. I'm inheriting her retirement account, but I'm only in my 40s and I actually have some needs for those dollars that I'm inheriting now. And I want to avoid the 10% penalty for withdrawal before age 59 and a half. How do I do that? And there actually are some options for spouses, but you got to be a little bit careful in what election you make in terms of how you inherit these accounts. So this is kind of technical, but I want to bring it up because I'm sure people face this all the time. So that's what we're chatting about. Stick around. Now, the best place to start here is probably talking about some of the basic rules around IRAs. So if you own an IRA personally, the magic number, of course, is age 59 and a half. You cannot take withdrawals from an IRA if you're under age 59 and a half without incurring a 10% penalty. Now, there are some special rules and so forth, but I'm not going down that path today. I want to keep this relatively brief. So just at the most basic level, 59 and a half is a key age, and that's important for reasons I'll reference back to in a moment. Now, spouses are treated special, if you will, as it relates to inherited retirement accounts. So let's first talk about what happens if you're a non-spouse and inherit a retirement account. So let's say, for instance, classically, you inherit your parents pass away and you inherit a retirement account for them. Well, what's going to happen? What are the rules around that? Well, as a non-spouse beneficiary, there aren't a lot of options. Basically, you have to establish what's known as a beneficiary IRA. And per the new rules, which were enacted in 2019, that account has to be drawn down within 10 years. Doesn't matter what age you are. So if you're 25 years old, you inherit a retirement account from your parents, you have 10 years to draw that money down. But the good news is you are not subject to that 10% penalty we talked about earlier. Now with spouses, however, it's a little bit different story. Spouses have the option. They can either choose a beneficiary IRA, however, they would have to draw the funds out within 10 years, or they can establish or basically just assume the inherited IRA as their own. So for example, if my wife were to tragically die today and she has an IRA, I could just assume that as my own, and basically, I would just take that on and would have to wait until age 59 and a half to take withdrawals from that penalty free. But obviously the issue there is if I want to take distributions in the meantime, I'm going to be subject to that 10% penalty. And this was the issue brought to me by an individual who said, described this exact scenario. His wife had died and he's like, well, what should I do with this inherited account? Because I actually need the money now. So most of the folks I work with are 60 years old or older, so I had to do a little due diligence here. And what I learned is spouses have the option. They can choose a spousal IRA or they can choose a beneficiary IRA. Now in the case of this individual who reached out to me, he's going to be better off choosing a beneficiary IRA. He's going to have to withdraw the funds out in 10 years, but that's kind of a moot point because he wants to regardless. But the benefit of going this route is he's going to avoid this 10% penalty because it does not exist over here. So if you inherit an IRA for your spouse, you're under age 59 and a half, you need to kind of make this assessment. Do you plan on spending the dollars down early before retirement? Well, if that's the case, you're going to want to make sure you make this election as opposed to making the spousal IRA election. Like I said, there are some other special rules to kind of work around this, but high level, I think this is important. This is really kind of what you need to know. So look, I hope it was helpful. If it was, look, just give me a thumbs up. That lets me know you like the video. And if you got any questions, please feel free to reach out. That's what we're here to do. As always, thanks for watching. I hope we'll see you in the next one.